The suspension on the back end.
Really? Alright. Shall we see what it's made of?
Yeah.
Ready?
Yeah.
60.
Oh my gosh.
Welcome back to Truck Central. I am Mr. Justin Wheeler, and this is my 2019 Ram 1500 Limited High Mileage Edition. Now, this video isn't about the high mileage Ram. No, this is about something else that has been a recent subject of interest. And I'm just going to come right out and say it. I think I regret canceling my order on the 2022 Ford Lightning electric truck. And it was just one of those things, you know, we made the video just recently talking about why I canceled it. I had 3 really good reasons that I still, you know, I believe in those reasons. They made sense at the time. But you know, it's one of those things that until you're kind of in front of something and get your hands on it, or in this case, get in the driver's seat and romp on it, you just don't really know how you feel about it. So, long story short, I canceled the Lightning. We made the video about that. And shortly after I canceled the Lightning, as fate would have it, my buddy who works at a very reputable Ford dealership in central Oklahoma, he calls me up and says, "You're not going to believe this. We've got a brand new Ford Lightning in. You should come test drive it." And I'm thinking, no way. He had one after I'd canceled my order. So just really to appease my curiosities, I loaded up the wife and children and we headed to the dealership. Oh, there it is. Not surprisingly, the Ford Lightning is a beautiful truck. Of course it is. Ford really doesn't make a truck that's not. Well, there are some trucks that aren't as universally accepted as others, but in general, the F-150 platform is tried and true. It's just a good truck. They look great, and the Lightning is no exception. Now, how do I feel about it? Well, quite frankly, I loved the truck. Is it everything I hoped it would be? Not necessarily, but it did meet a lot of the claims. I really think it's as good as advertised, which in the back of my mind, although not one of the 3 tenets that, you know, that resulted in me canceling the order, in the back of my mind, I told myself, man, this electric truck isn't going to be as cool as it could be. It's not going to be as cool as a gas truck. Well, maybe that's not the case, because that truck, it really was awesome. So let's start off with the most important thing when buying a vehicle, and that's the price. Why do I regret canceling my order if the price didn't change? Well, the price didn't change. To get what I looked at was a 2022 Ford Lightning EV Lariat, which is, you know, not Ram 1500 Limited caliber interior. It's just not. It's still a really nice truck though, and it has everything that you need. It may not have everything that you want, but it's got all the primary bells and whistles that you would come to love and expect, and a $70,000 truck. One might say, well, for $70,000 it should really have everything, and maybe. Truck prices are so crazy now, and EVs are new and kind of the buzzword, I guess. Not really the buzzword, but you know, they're kind of the fad right now, I guess is what I'm trying to say. And a lot of them still apply or still have tax credits that you can get applied, so you can knock a pretty significant chunk off of the sales price or the out-the-door price or out-of-pocket expense with the tax credit. But anyway, it's $70,000 now. Does it have a giant screen in it like this truck? Yeah, actually it does. It's got a bigger and cooler looking screen than even this Limited. Does it have heated and cooled seats? It does. Really good heated and cooled seats, but not in the back. Now, the Limited has front and rear heated and cooled seats. That didn't, but, you know, kids are tough. They're resilient. They don't need all that. Now, me sitting in the driver's seat all the time, I do want and need that. So, back on the price. They're comparably priced. They're comparable trucks. The big difference, so the acquisition cost is similar. What is not similar is the operating cost. The operating cost for that Lightning is significantly lower than what I experienced today in this Ram. I spend, and I mentioned this or kind of alluded to it in the last video, anywhere from $1,000 to $1,600, sometimes more than that, $100 a month in fuel. And I get 87 octane fuel. I don't even get the good stuff. That's how much I spend. Now, that's not going to be the same for everybody. I drive a whole lot, but it seems like rough calculations, most people would cut their fuel bill in half going electric. So although the price to acquire that truck is the same as what it would be to get a new 2022 Limited Ram, the operating cost would be about half. I could take $500 to $800 a month extra and stash that away. That's significant. To put that into perspective, you could conceivably choose, do you want a 2022 Ram Limited, or do you want the 2022 Ford Lightning Lariat and a brand new Livewire electric motorcycle in the bed that cost $20-some thousand. The one that was originally a Harley, now it's not. Anyway, they're pretty cool. That's kind of the trade-off. I mean, that's that much cheaper. You can get two for the price of one, really. Now, that's only really applicable for people who drive high miles. You're not going to save $800 a month if you only drive 5,000 miles a year, if that makes sense. So you have to keep it into perspective. So I can throw price out because it's really not cheaper in a Ram. Now, what doesn't weigh out? Well, the range. The range is still the limiting factor. 300 miles is not going to get me by in a day. Hell, today's an easy day, and I've already logged 387 miles. And this is just a normal day. And I have not had time to stop and charge, that's for sure. So it's not right for me yet. But you know who it is right for? My wife, who does lots and lots of driving all day long in town and the city, but she never exceeds 200, or definitely not 300 miles in a single day. So the Ford Lightning is actually ideal for her driving circumstances, her driving situation. You've probably heard me talk about or mention in other videos that I can't, or at least I don't foresee myself living without the Ram boxes. That's true. I am married to those Ram boxes, but you want to know what impressed the heck out of me? That frunk. Golly, that frunk was nice. Big, easy access. I can confidently say that I can store just as much from the Ram boxes into the frunk. So that's a game changer. That really opens up the door. Now, the front needs a little bit of work. They need some sort of aftermarket compartmentalization system, organizers or whatever, and I know that the aftermarket scene is going to be all over that at some point in time, because it's just a trunk. So contractors, guys who carry around tools and supplies, they're going to need drawers or shelves or, I don't know, little bins. That would be really, really nice to have, but it's massive, and I love it. And it's power. You click the button, it opens up. It's got the plugs. Very cool. Out back, the power tailgate, really nice. Power opens, it power closes. Very cool. And it's got all the expected, doodads and gadgets in the bed, as well as the generator that you can plug into that can power, a house or whatever. It's just all very user friendly. It would meet many of my needs for sure. I'm curious if I could run a 110 inverter welder off of one of those trucks. I would love to try that. So far, the truck, it checks all the boxes. What else about it? It's fast. That 4.5 second claimed 0 to 60 time is no joke. It is actually that fast. When I first pulled out of the dealership parking lot, I goosed it a little bit, and everyone in the car squealed. You know, they were scared, and I was a little scared. I had to kind of stifle my unexpected reaction to the get up and go that thing had. Really impressed. I mean, it was fun to drive. The regenerative braking was interesting. I've never driven anything with regenerative braking, but it felt similar to, if you've ever driven a diesel, the engine brake, the way it would slow you down as soon as you let off the brake, or I'm sorry, the accelerator. And they also have the one pedal driving, which is where you can just drive with the gas pedal because it slows itself down so well. That's a pretty cool feature. Other than that, the inside, I will say the inside did leave a little bit to be desired. My wife really liked it. I was expecting a little bit more. It was all really nicely done. Everything felt high quality. There just wasn't as much, I guess. Very high quality, but not super high on the quantity in terms of just, buttons and switches and, nice hand stitching, embroidery. But it was a nicely done truck. They did some stuff that I really liked. All the cameras built into the truck made it really easy to see what's around you. Lots of buttons, and I only got to spend about 30 minutes with the truck. And so I know that there's things I overlooked or didn't see, and I was still really, really impressed. So what does it come down to? Truly, availability. That was a big thing for me. What's going to be available when it's time to buy? And had that truck been for sale the day that I test drove it, we probably would have bought it. That's how impressed I was with it. But it was a mannequin unit. I guess Ford sends out what they call mannequin vehicles to dealers. It sounds to me like it's kind of free marketing. They let people come in and test drive it, but they can't sell it for a set amount of time. And so they said you could put a down payment on it or a deposit on it. I'm not going to put a down payment or a deposit on a vehicle, on a mannequin that's not going to be for sale for 6 months, that everybody and their dog is going to come in and hot rod 0 to 60 pulls all day long for 6 months. That sounds like a bad idea. But I will say, when they become available, I think I'm a believer. I think I'm going to be a Lightning owner because it was a cool truck. I do see it fitting into the workflow, if you will, of my household. Not for me in particular. I need something that's got at least 500 miles of range, electric vehicle wise, before I can really justify it. And we're not there yet. It's gonna be gas motors for me for a while, but there will be a time when I may be able to make that transition. But I'm a big fan. So drop me a comment down below. Let me know what you think of the Lightning. Have you seen one out in public yet? Have you seen one at the dealer? Have you pre-ordered? Are you test driving one soon? If you have the opportunity, I encourage you, even if you're an old school gas powered, diesel powered, internal combustion engine guy like me, they deserve a shot, because even if they're not for you, they may be right for someone else in your family. They really are impressive. At least I can speak to the Lightnings. Quick shout out to Real Truck. They are our sponsors again this season. Head on over to Real Truck if you need intakes, tuners, tires, wheels, bed covers, floor mats, mud flaps, you name it. They got it. Leave a comment down below if you are waiting on your Lightning or plan to test drive a Lightning anytime soon. I'm curious what other internal combustion engine guys think about them. I know I can't be alone in thinking that even though it doesn't have that sound of a Hemi, they still are cool and fun to drive. So leave that down below. I look forward to talking to you. And as always, thanks for watching.